Good morning, Naledi, and to our viewers. We are back here at Tshwane House, where, of course, the battle for the mayoral position resumes. You would remember on Friday, council collapsed after the multi-party coalition led by the DA obviously staged a walkout, and that meant that the remaining of the councillors could not continue with the business of the day, and that was to vote in a new mayor. So today, that process starts again with a lot of challenges again. We're on a 2-hour adjournment already. So as soon as council started, the ANC EFF bloc asked for an adjournment. They stated that they're still unhappy with what happened on Friday when the multi-party coalition abandoned council, staged a walkout. So they asked for a caucus meeting, saying that they still have a couple of issues that they need to discuss. So it seems like it's going to be another long day, and we can really just ask, is this mayor going to be elected? In particular, now that we know there are already discussions and threats to put the Tshwane municipality under administration. So you can see that the issues are deepening. We also, of course, have another issue that seems to still be unresolved, and that relates to the COPE PR councillor, and that is Justice Sifanye. So over the weekend, COPE gave us a reassurance that the issues had been sorted out. They had spoken to the IEC, had meetings even with the COPE leader, Sia Lekota, and on Monday we received correspondence that he was officially now accepted, that after they allegedly cleared his so-called criminal record and the controversy around the two IDs. But this morning, we then learned that he has been removed again. It was formally announced in council that Mr. Justice Thabang Sifanyetso is no longer the COPE councillor, and he subsequently apparently has also been fired, or rather removed from the party. His membership that has been terminated. We just spoke to COPE spokesperson Dennis Bloom, who's saying that this whole thing is a smear campaign and they're heading to court. It is not what is happening, but it seems like COPE's internal politics is affecting what is happening in the Tshwane Council. But the multi-party coalition saying that they have their ducks in a row. They have sorted out their issues. They've replaced those 3 councillors that were fired by Action SA, and everything is above board. Of course, Michael Bowman joined me right now just to tell us what we can expect. Can you give us the assurance that your house is in order? It's looking better than that of COPE?
Well, certainly, and I think that's a very low bar to set for what it's worth, but our house most certainly is in order. I've been meeting with our caucus here this morning. They are united, they are excited to ensure that our coalition government returns to its seat in the council. And very important to remember that this coalition has a majority. That majority was given to it by the voters of Tshwane, and it's been undermined through a program of vote buying, and that is what we've had to deal with. I think we've dealt with it decisively, and we should be able to see a majority return this coalition to government once again if the ANC and EFF stop the deliberate tactics of delaying.
What happens to some of the councillors that still might not be happy with Action SA, might not be happy with the DA? We hear that these issues continue to simmer behind the scenes, in particular in the DA space, that there might be those who are still unhappy with, in particular, the nomination of Celia Brink. Are you not worried that they might not do as you expect them to?
No, look, I can only speak for Action SA. I can't speak for other parties. What I can say is Action SA is united behind this coalition. We believe that Brink is the right candidate for mayor. We look forward to giving him our support to ensure that he does become the mayor. But ultimately, I think we must be very clear. Parties have sat down, they've determined that this is the candidate for the coalition. The coalition is united behind that candidate, and anyone saying anything else in the background is not operating in good faith.
Okay. What does your numbers look like? Just to remind our viewers, where do we stand? Of course, last week you had a little bit of challenges after firing those three councillors, and that gave you a dip in terms of your numbers, but you have replaced them. What does the whole, collectively, the multi-coalition partnership look like in terms of numbers?
Well, we believe we should be at a minimum 108 votes today, which is a clear majority, potentially even up to 109. And I think critically, by virtue of dealing with these councillors who have been supporting the ANC's vote should be coming down to as low as 101 or 102. So I think we have a very clear majority, and I think this is why the ANC and EFF are adopting the strategy of delay and obstruction of today's proceedings.
But that's exactly what the multi-party coalition did on Friday. You also had your delays, you staged a walkout, so it really seems like you're all playing the very same political tricks here.
No, I don't think so at all. I think what happened on Friday was councillors who had been dismissed from Action SA were allowed to participate in the council proceedings. That is a legal issue. So when political parties say we cannot legitimise a meeting that is taking place on an illegal basis, I think that's fundamentally different to what we're seeing today. What we're seeing today is a group of parties that have staged a coup to take a majority away from a group of coalition parties that were given that majority in council by the voters, and now that they don't have the majority again because their vote buying tactics have been sorted out, they want to delay this meeting. I think those are two very different things and two very different pathways to coalition for South Africans to observe.
You're dismissed three councillors. We understand that they're still busy with their action to obviously interject or challenge how they have been dismissed. Are you not worried that perhaps if they win, if the courts rule in their favour, they might have to be brought back here? Are you not worried about those dynamics?
Not at all. As a party, we know that our procedures have been followed. I think it's very easy to threaten litigation. It's a whole different thing to actually go and litigate. And we've already seen one of the court papers being removed from the urgent court roll, which is a clear demonstration that these individuals know that they're not going to win in court. But if they do go to court, we will defend Action SA's decisions, and we're very confident we'll be successful because we followed our procedures to the letter of the law.
Thank you so much. Of course, Naledi, it's a wait and see game, and I promise you each party that we speak to will portray themselves as having, their ducks in a row and doing the right thing, and of course also acting in the best interest of the people of Tshwane. But from the games, the tricks that we have seen playing out from that day, the 13th of February, when Randall Williams resigned, and the instability, the confusion, the drama that followed since then, it's been over a month that this has been going on, and we have had the conversations with the various political parties, and it is clear that there is a lot of political impasse in Tshwane, in particular because no party has a majority, so the dealing and wheeling is still happening. You hear here from, of course, Mr. Michael Bowman saying that they sound confident that they've got the numbers, but when it comes to voting, it normally plays out differently. That's when you see that those unresolved issues in the various political parties perhaps still plague the outcome. Here's Leah Brink in particular. Let's also maybe squeeze him in. I just see him passing here. Of course, he's speaking for the DA. He's also the multi-party coalition mayoral candidate. Mr. Brink, it's another day. On Friday, we left here under a lot of commotion. The DA-led coalition obviously staged a walkout. Where are we standing now? We understand that the councillors have been replaced, but where are we standing now?
So let me just fulfill my first obligation, and that is to say that it is the multi-party coalition. So the DA plays a very important role in that, but it's not the DA-led coalition. We're the multi-party coalition, which is us, Action SA, the Freedom Front Plus, ACDP and IFP. So just an important point, which I promised to make once the DA-led coalition was mentioned. We have the numbers today. Obviously on Friday, Action SA made certain changes. We've taken steps as the parties in the coalition. We have the numbers, we're ready, we want to bring a stable, accountable government to the City of Tshwane. It is desperately needed at this stage because we are running out of time. We have until the end of this month to pass an adjustments budget, And if that budget is not passed, then we are going to see the steady deterioration of services. And I wonder whether that is not the game plan of the ANC and the EFF to cause enough disruption and delays here so that the ANC Gauteng government can step in and do some form of intervention. I also know, if I could just add, that Panyaza Lesuphi has personally met and tried to meet with various councillors, various parties. He has consistently tried to make this multi-party coalition fail. And so wherever he is, I understand he's in Europe currently, but wherever he is, he must also account as the Premier of Gauteng. Is he acting as the Premier? Is he acting as the ANC provincial chairperson?
But surely, Mr. Brink, you would agree, no one has a majority in Tshwane. So it ultimately means that all political parties can play the political game and merge powers however they please. And whoever, even if it's the multi-party coalition, whoever has the numbers can take over the reins.
Yes, and it's important to reach a point to say, we've now established who has the numbers. Because if you don't have the numbers, and you keep on postponing meetings or collapsing council, you also have to count and say, listen, this is our game plan. I don't see the ANC-EFF coalition's route to victory in Tshwane other than by the help of Panyaza Lesuphi and the Gauteng government. They're going to stretch this thing out for council meeting after council meeting. At least they're going to try. Obviously, we will oppose them. But they also have to tell us, what is their game plan? What is the vision for Tshwane? What are they trying to achieve here?
You're accusing them of collapsing council. You did the same thing on Friday. You guys also staged a walkout.
The important difference with Friday is the ANC depended on the support of 3 councillors who were not validly councillors at that stage. The Speaker refused to accept the fact that Action SA had withdrawn 2 of their councillors and that there was serious doubt about the status of a 3rd councillor from Cope. We didn't stage a walkout. We stayed until the very end and tried to persuade the Speaker to postpone the council meeting to today, in fact. This was our proposal, that the council meeting be held today. And now we're in a position where there's legal certainty as to the composition of councillors. That wasn't the fact on Friday. So really, I mean, the ANC-EFF coalition must give us an updated explanation. What is the game plan for Tshwane?
Thank you so much. We'll also try and speak to the ANC and the EFF to find out exactly what is their game plan and how are they going to obviously navigate the numbers game that is actually the biggest currency in the council. And as I've been saying, that there is so much, negotiations that are taking place. There's also so many games that are taking place, which makes us doubt that there will be a mayor by the end of today if we're already starting right from the morning with such a long adjournment. Possibly when we come back after 12, they're probably going to ask for another adjournment, as we heard the EFF speaking very strongly earlier in council, saying that they will not accept Celia Brink as the Tshwane mayor and they will do whatever it takes to block him, saying that it is time for change. But the big question is, what type of change? They are obviously gunning on the PAC councillor, and that is Murunwa Makwarela. But we've also heard that some are saying they don't have much confidence in this particular individual. So the EFF and the ANC not fielding their own councillors, that is actually causing even a bigger problem. But we'll speak to them to hear what exactly are they planning to do. What is their action plan for today? Or can we just accept that it's going to be delay after delay, adjournment after adjournment, until council ultimately collapse, and we'll end this day with another setback for the people of Tshwane. Naledi?